Trust the experts. Trust EcoDrive for accurate information, the right advice, and an experienced perspective.
The new Toyota Camry is ready for launch in India real soon, but we have the jump on it. Here's the car's first drive and experience. This is the short review. The Camry's new look is dominated by a bold, modern and sexy face. You can see it's got really sharp LEDs, very sharp in terms of not just the execution of the lighting, but even how it cuts through the metal. Very nice. The grille, well, this one is a little bit more stylistic. You can get this in a more simple bumper pattern in some markets, so we'll have to wait and see what we get. But this is the most expressive. It's very Lexus-like, and it gives the car a lot of character. It also looks nice and wide in the front, which is something I think in our market people will like a lot. Powering the sedan is now what is called a hybrid-only powertrain with a 2.5-litre petrol 4-cylinder and a set of 2 electric motors up front. There is an all-wheel drive variant which gets a third motor for the rear axle. That, of course, is the legendary Toyota Hybrid system. Total system power is 220 horses while it bumps up to 227 on the all-wheel drive. And that's what I have. The car feels a little bit lighter, not in terms of its weight, but in terms of how it moves. It feels a little more maneuverable as well. Not as boat-like. So handling has improved and the overall refinement that you expect from a Toyota is very much there. What hasn't changed, you don't get that instant pickup when you just sort of drop down and slam the gas. That's always how it's been. It has this sort of a comfortable feel. Car accelerates okay, but the focus is all about efficient, refined performance. Not about sportiness, and honestly, for a sedan like this one, that's okay. India is getting it soon, and our Camry is likely to be more luxurious, and prices are expected to soar well above the 45 lakh rupee territory. Inside, you do get Toyota's latest tech suite, big touchscreen but not giant, easy to use, better graphics, though still not on par with the Koreans, and connectivity options. The car also has ADAS and multiple airbags as well as a crash-safe structure. But you surely want to know a lot more, don't you? Well, our long review starts now. This is the 9th generation Toyota Camry, and this is a hybrid. In fact, unlike the last car, which came in non-hybrid and even a V6 variant, this one just gets 2 hybrid options. There's front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Camry is derived from the word crown in Japanese, and it sure rules its segment in most markets. Here in the US market, they call these mid-size sedans. Yes, in India, we've always thought of them as full-size or luxurious big cars. Now, here it takes on the likes of the Honda Accord, the Nissan Altima. But think about it, it's a segment at one time used to be really hot here in the US, in India too to some extent. Now it's kind of tapered off, the SUVs have taken over. But we will get this new generation car in India too. Now with the 9th generation, you find that the Camry doesn't look like a large, floaty boat. I mean, the last 3 generations especially really look large and wide, and you know, that's nice when you want a chauffeur-driven car, but when you want to drive the car yourself, looking a little sporty is a nice thing. So it looks more taut, it looks more compact in a way, and it just looks closer to the ground. While you may think that's not necessarily great in the Indian context, it does look extremely sexy and very modern. And that's especially due to its Lexus-like face. The styling up front is that hammerhead design that we've seen with the Prius and the CHR in other markets. In fact, the Prius won World Car Design with this overall styling direction and this language. So you can see it's got really sharp LEDs, very sharp in terms of not just the execution of the lighting, but even how it cuts through the metal. Very nice. The grille, well, this one is a little bit more stylistic. You can get this in a more simple bumper pattern in some markets, so we'll have to wait and see what we get. But this is the most expressive. It's very Lexus-like, and it gives the car a lot of character. It also looks nice and wide in the front, which is something I think in our market people will like a lot. In terms of proportion, like I said, the car tends to look nice and compact. It also has a decent roofline that kind of starts to taper off here, and what's nice is that there's actually a little bit of direction given over here. So even though it's a wide piece, this roofline coming down, it has this little embedded line in the middle, which gives it a little feeling of agility and compactness and makes the car look faster. Again, the use of this two-tone here of the roof, again, gives the car a sportier profile. At the rear, it's very sharp again, LED treatment through the tail lights. This one is the hybrid, which is what I'm expecting we will get also. In fact, they don't really make the regular Camry for most markets anymore. It's only hybrid from here on, is what Toyota says. Again, you see black treatment back here. I'm scared that we'll get a lot more chrome and a lot less black. But otherwise, in terms of this color, in terms of this spec, and even that nice, sexy alloy wheel pattern, I hope this is the car we get. The ocean gem color here is fantastic too, and looks pretty cool with the optional midnight black dual tone roof. Now, last year when the Toyota Prius got to being one of the most beautiful cars in the world, that was a shock. With the Camry being good looking or stylish, it shouldn't really come as a shock because this car is meant to sort of play that role of being the mass flagship. And so the outside styling didn't really surprise me. I'm happy to see it, of course, because I don't think the previous two Camrys were very good looking. The cabin is roomy and well appointed, as you'd expect. The XSE trim here in the US, in the middle of the range, it is a bit sporty, and so the all black that you see here is unlikely in India. The wheelbase remains almost unchanged, just 5 millimeters more than before. While the base gets an 8-inch touchscreen, on the higher variants, it is this 12.3-inch screen with wireless smartphone connectivity and the expected levels of infotainment and apps. The optional 9-speaker JBL sound system is also pretty good. This is also a connected car, though that exterior design will become its biggest talking point, I think. But it's on the inside too, I think, of the cabin. While it doesn't surprise, it's reassuring to see the best of what Toyota is doing pop up in this cabin. So you've got lots and lots of technology, and you've got pretty much everything that car buyers today are looking for. The only thing though I have to say, it's all driver focused. Now of late we've been getting the more luxurious Camry as compared to what the US gets. So while it's the same generation, it's the same car, it has a slightly different appeal. It has a very different back seat. It also has some of the features that are more oriented towards the backseat driver or the owner. I'm guessing that's what will happen again, of course. But like I was saying earlier, this car is studded with technology, and so you get all the ADAS. You've got lane keep assist, you've got hands-free driving, adaptive cruise control, you've got crash alerts, and then of course what you expect from the Toyotas. The little cliched bit about what's happening with the hybrid system. Is the power coming from the battery? Is it being fed back into the battery? You still see all of that. While it's not as gimmicky as it used to be, the graphics are better. It's typical Toyota territory. What's nice though is that it's a complete instrument cluster that has gone virtual. It's not just little bits or little small screens anymore that you're seeing. Yes, the graphics are finally looking slicker and more modern too. The screens are responsive and good on resolution, and it's all looking like a generational leap for real, but it's still not as sexy as the exterior is. The car is big on safety. That ADAS suite gives you many features, including collision avoidance with emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane change assist, and more. You also get 8 airbags, anti-lock brakes with electronic brake force distribution, traction and stability control, 3-point seatbelts with pre-tensioners and reminders, optional 360 camera, parking sensors front and back, and child seat anchors. There are a few carryovers from the last generation to this one, and that also includes the performance in some ways. The car feels a little bit lighter, not in terms of its weight, but in terms of how it moves. It feels a little more maneuverable as well, not as boat-like. So handling has improved, and the overall refinement that you expect from a Toyota is very much there. What hasn't changed though, yeah, you don't get that instant pickup when you just sort of drop down and slam the gas. That's always how it's been. It has this sort of a comfortable feel. Car accelerates okay, but the focus is all about efficient, refined performance, not about sportiness. And honestly, for a sedan like this one, that's okay. The Camry gets the same 2.5-liter petrol mated to a hybrid as standard worldwide now. A few exceptions like China and Vietnam also get a 2-liter hybrid. The numbers are healthy, and on the all-wheel drive version, there is an extra motor at the rear axle, and this gets you an extra 7 horses of power. The gearbox is smooth, and a CVT always works well on a hybrid system, making the transition smooth and uninterrupted. So when it comes to drivetrain, I'm expecting a similar setup as what we are seeing here in the US. I mean, the Camry really has sort of consolidated its overall engine lineup for global markets. And it's not just the Camry, right? That's happening across models. Now, what I do hope we definitely get is the way more improved handling. The steering is more precise than it was on the previous car, and the car will go around corners just a little bit sharper. That's great. While I don't care that the petrol-only non-hybrids are gone, I do miss the last generation's awesome V6, which was powerful and very refined. But sign of the times, I guess. In many ways, the Camry is, dare I say, an entry car for many people here in a market like the United States. In India, it serves a more luxurious purpose, and so I expect the trim and hopefully even the plastic quality to be better than what I'm seeing here. This is acceptable, but at the kind of price points we operate at, it needs to be way better than acceptable. And that is because I reckon the Camry is going to blow past the 50 lakh rupee mark on road for sure. It's crazy where prices have gone, and especially for a car like this, which should ideally be super approachable. But it will operate in the luxury space, and so volumes will remain limited in India.
Time to switch gears and get into Acco Drive. For hassle-free car service, in-depth reviews, great deals on new cars, and personalized advice from our experts.